Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Dakota and this is my knitting podcast called Joy and Knitting. I hope you're having a nice Sunday. Today I went to church and then I took myself right to the yarn store. I've been on a no-buy for like a month, so I've definitely gone a little bit crazy because my birthday is next week. So yeah, I treated myself, to say the least. Yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. Basically what's been happening in my life is I've just been studying for my board exam to be a dietitian, and that's on December 3rd. So thank you guys in my last video that wish me luck, and I'll definitely let you guys know how that ends up going. I was hesitant to post a podcast today because I'm waiting for some yarn in the mail, but I've been waiting for this yarn for like 2 months now, and it's suspected that it's gonna get here this week, but I don't know. I kind of have a goal that I would like to upload at least once every 2 weeks. No pressure, but I don't know. I just like to have goals for myself rather than have it every month. You know, things happen, but I feel like 2 weeks is a good amount of time to talk about something, and it doesn't always have to be podcasts. I can definitely make other things too. So if you have any ideas for videos, please let me know what you think. I should put my hair up because it's gonna be annoying, but whatever, we'll leave it down. Yeah, so today will be a podcast. I only have one finished object and 2 works in progress, and most excited about my yarn acquisitions because I finally got to buy yarn. Yeah, so we'll start with my finished object, which is my Cozy Autumn Socks by This Handmade Life. And I found this pattern from Carson over at Carsleehandmade things, I think. I'll leave her channel in the description. I want to start leaving like channels that I talk about in the description because obviously there's so many amazing podcasters out on YouTube, so want to share the love. So yeah, I found out about these socks through her. I have talked about these in my last podcast, but yeah, they're done. And I remember when I was almost done with these, I was so excited to get them off of my needles. I just wanted them to be over, not because of the pattern was really wonderful, but because I just didn't really like how the variegated yarn worked up with the pattern. I just don't think that this was the pattern for this yarn, and the more I've blocked them, I've worn them, they have some wear to them now, and I appreciate them more than I did, for sure. I like them more than I did, and you can definitely see the cables popping out more. I don't know, I just kind of wish I thought it through more, but it's okay. And it was a lesson to, I don't know, it's okay to be picky with which yarn you want to go with which pattern, which actually in my next pair of socks that I'm working on, I ran into that problem again. So yeah, I used my sock set that I got from Birch Grove, which is, I found her on Etsy. I can link her also. She makes some cute sock sets, and I forget the color names, but if it's still on Etsy, you can find it. And it's just a beautiful blend of autumnal colors, very nice for the fall time, and I think the contrast color is so cute. I have a little bit of it left, so I think I'll use it for maybe some stripes. So yeah, the pattern, I think there was only a medium and large size, only 60 stitch cast on and 64. I went with the 60. I typically do 54 or 56 stitch cast on, but the 60 fits just fine. I didn't want to mess with it because it was my first time reading a chart for socks and doing more technical work on a sock, so I didn't want to mess with the stitch count, and then mess up the whole pattern. So yeah, that's that. The pattern's free. You can find it, I'll link it below. And overall, a really great pattern. I highly recommend this if you want to branch out and stop or like experiment with things that aren't just like vanilla socks. Yeah, I'm sure Carson had made a pair of these and they were so cute, and yeah, her yarn choice worked really well with this pattern. So if you want to see more examples, you can go check her out. And that's that. I won't say too much about them because I've already talked about them in my last podcast, and I just want to show you that they're finished and they're getting a lot of wear. Okay, so now moving on to works in progress. I have 2 of them. We'll start with the socks first. I should have brought some water with me because I have a dry throat. Also, we're fighting the daylight. It gets dark here in New Jersey around 4:40 and we're going on 3:30, and I want to make sure to get out for a walk today, so hopefully we don't run out of time. Okay, so first I'll show you the yarn. This is the yarn that I'm working with. I definitely have mentioned this in a past podcast at some point. I got it with this yarn when I was in Vermont. I took a solo trip, just me and my bike, to I stayed in a town called Essex, which is about 12 miles from Burlington. So you know, I just rode my bike into Burlington. I explored, and I went to this yarn store that I don't remember the name of course, but if you're in the area, you can just Google a search like yarn store in Burlington, and it's probably the first one to pop up. It starts with an S. I know that. Yeah, so I got this yarn as well as this beautiful purple yarn, and before this I had no interest at all in tweed yarn. I thought it was hideous, but I don't know, when I saw this sitting on the shelf in there was just something about it that I was like, yes, I want those socks and I want to knit them in the winter time. And it's really strange because with this yarn, I'm not like a gray fan. I don't like gray. I don't like silver, but I don't know, it just stood out to me and I bought it. So yeah, this yarn is called, it's by a company called Fiber Stash, and Fiber Stash Dye Works, and it's their Tweedy Toes sock yarn, 100 grams, 438 yards, 85% superwash merino, and 15% nylon. And the gray one is in the color Gray Scott. And it has, sorry, yeah, it's a sock yarn, and it has these beautiful black and tan and white tweed bits all over it. With this yarn, I tried to cast on 2 different socks. So first I was doing a ribbed sock, and I didn't like how that was turning out. In fact, I envisioned the purple to be my rib socks, but it just wasn't working for the gray. And then I was doing another pattern that I don't remember the name of, but it doesn't matter because I didn't end up using it. But I had knitted like the whole, it was a toe up sock, and I had knitted the whole foot and was like, I don't like this. I don't like how the yarn is working up. So I made the executive decision to rip it back because I knew I wasn't gonna enjoy wearing them. And yeah, I learned my lesson to just give up while you're ahead and rip back before it's too late. So then I was just like, I think what was happening was I was having a hard time being inspired by this yarn because I don't gravitate towards gray. It's not a color that I like. I prefer browns and tans and warm neutral colors. I just don't love how gray looks on my skin tone, like, at all. So I stay away from it. However, a dark, like, heathered gray I can get with. Like, I think I could manage with that, but not this. Also, I don't know if anyone else has this, but there are certain things, like, from childhood that remind me of things that are not good. For example, when I had food poisoning when I was a kid, I was wearing a gray Winnie the Pooh shirt, and I remember because I had thrown up all over my shirt. So I don't know, maybe that's why, like, subconsciously I don't like gray, but either way, I don't wear it that often. So I think that's why I was having a hard time figuring out, like, what I wanted this sock yarn to be. So I turned to the internet, to Instagram, and I was just searching hashtags of gray tweed socks. And I found this pattern. I don't know. It was using a completely different yarn, but for some reason seeing the pattern inspired me. And this is what I've come up with. I finished one sock and I'm going through the leg right now of the second sock. This pattern is called the Lights on Main by a designer that I can't pronounce her name, but I will leave her down in the description for you. She has some really cute designs, and this one specifically I got really inspired because I figured, like, the elongated stitches are kind of like representative of twinkling lights, which reminded me of like silver, sparkling silver. So sorry, I really need water, but we're gonna power through. So if I randomly start coughing, just bear with me. Yeah, so that's why I chose this pattern. It's wonderful. I blocked this sock, so this is like its final form. Yeah, so the pattern, first of all, it's size inclusive for at least my foot. There's 3 sizes, a 56 stitch cast on, 60, and 64. And I just really appreciate that the 56 option is there because that's my preferred cast on, and I like when patterns include it. Yeah, so Lights on Main socks. Yeah, it features also this really cute tinsel line is what she calls it, which just reminds me of a Christmas tree. These really, like, they're not Christmas socks, but they're more like elegant Christmas socks, I guess. Not like traditional red and green and white. So yeah, my favorite part about this is the heel flap, which is this like crisscross heel flap. I have never done it before, but it's just wonderful. It's so cute. Yeah. The pattern also, she has it in written form and in chart form, so that's nice. Whichever you prefer, you can use. And yeah, I think that's it. I knit these on, sorry, something's going on outside. Between my coughing and the noises, there's a lot of distractions. Okay, so what was I saying? I don't know. This pattern is just amazing. Oh yeah, I knit these on 2.25 9-inch circulars, and I love them. I can't wait to finish the second one. It's nothing like my last socks that I did. Like, I'm actually happy and excited to knit these. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully I don't have that much yarn left. I always have so much yarn left when I knit socks. Like, apparently I'm just supposed to be knitting like knee-high socks at this point because I always have so much yarn left and I don't know what to do with any of it. I'm gonna have to make like scrap socks. Okay, so that's that. These will definitely be finished by next time. And then this purple yarn will be ribbed socks. I think these might be my next sock cast on, but we'll see. I'm getting some stuff in the mail, so we'll see. Okay, my next cast on, or work in progress, it's almost done, and it's been like 6 days since I started it. Okay, first we're going to talk about this yarn. So when I started knitting, more specifically like garments, I started knitting garments, and I wanted to start like getting more serious about using nicer yarn, I went to my local yarn store, which is really nice, and they have such a nice selection of yarn. And I remember like setting my eyes on Woolfolk yarn, and I fell in love with it. It is the softest wool I've ever touched. It's so like elegant, in my eyes at least. It's very like luxury in my eyes. So, and you know, I'm still like, I'm a pretty inexperienced, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but I still have a lot to learn when it comes to yarn. So, I don't know, to me, like, this yarn was just like the most luxurious yarn that I've ever seen at that point. And for the last year, I have thought about this yarn, and I've wanted to knit a sweater with it, but it would be extremely expensive to knit a whole sweater. So this year, for my birthday, I decided to treat myself to Woolfolk yarn, and this is the yarn. It's so beautiful. It's a DK weight yarn, I'm pretty sure, and it's kind of like spun in this beautiful braid, which when it's worked up, it kind of like just all melts together. It's beautiful, and it is very durable as well. This is the Far yarn in the color 23. Another feature of this yarn is that you don't get that much with a skein. So for $20, you get, it's $20 a skein, at least where I bought it. You get 142 yards per 50 grams, which isn't that much. So to make a whole sweater, it would be very expensive. So for my first time using it, I wanted to go with something a little more conservative, I guess, in terms of yarn buying. So I went with a Slipover, and this is what I'm making. I think this is the front. So, okay, it's looking a little small right now, but I think with blocking, it will be totally fine. So this pattern is the Weekend Slipover by Petite Knit. I did make some modifications. One, the biggest thing, she uses a fingering plus a mohair in her pattern, and I think that's what it is. I don't know. All I know is that it's knit on 5.5 millimeter needle, so maybe it wasn't a fingering and mohair, but regardless, 5.5 millimeters. This yarn, it's recommended to knit between 4 and 5, so I chose 4.5 millimeter needles to knit it. Didn't do a gauge swatch, I just went for it, and this is what we got. I chose to knit size medium because obviously I'm using a much smaller needle size, a whole like millimeter smaller, so I went for the medium, whereas typically I would go for like an extra small or small because her patterns have so much positive ease usually. And yeah, this is pretty, I think, standard. I've knit other slipovers before. You basically are just knitting the front and back separately and joining. There's a lot of purling, which I don't love, a lot of knitting flat in the beginning, which I don't love, but it is what it is. Once I joined in the round, it's been extremely easy. This has worked up so fast. It's literally been like less than a week since I started this. So yeah, another thing I noticed while I was knitting this is like I didn't really have to rely on the pattern that much, which was really cool for me and just like kind of a testament to being like more experienced as a knitter. Like, not, it's just nice to not feel like a beginner and having to rely so much on the pattern and look up all these different techniques. And I mean, that is so much fun. Like, that is the beauty of being a beginner knitter. And you know, I still love being that beginner and being curious and learning new techniques when I'm knitting something that I've never done before. But for this, like, it just came very naturally to me, which was really cool. Some modifications I made was I did a long neckline. I think this will sit like pretty much all the way up to my chin or like up all my neck, but if I want to, I can also fold it, and I think that would be really cute too. Something I had never done before was these central deep creases on the armhole, which turned out really nice and cute. I love how, like, when you pick up, I don't even know how this happens, this design element, but like this curve in the fabric, it's so cool. I don't know how this happens, but I really like how that looks. And in terms of the fabric, like this yarn, it is like buttery cream goodness in yarn form. Like, it's so soft. It's almost unbelievable that this is a 100% merino wool. It's not itchy at all. The fabric, it's very, like, it really like melts together. Like, if you look closely, you can see the stitch definition, but it really just like melts together. I do worry about pilling. For some reason, I feel like this fabric would pill a lot, but we'll see how it wears over time. I'm just so in love with this yarn, and so much so that I think in the future I really want to knit a zipper sweater by Petite Knit. I think I would go all in and buy a sweater's quantity worth of this yarn because it's so nice. My roommate just started playing music, so if you can hear it, I'm sorry. More distractions. Yeah, so I'm almost done with this. I'm still, I have about this much yarn left for this skein, and this one is my last skein. I actually only bought 4 and needed a 5th, so yeah, this is how much I have left. I'm just going to use it up for the body and then probably start on the ribbing soon, and then I'll be done, and then it'll be time to block, and I'm definitely going to like block out the arms, it just needs to stretch a little bit, and I think it will. This fabric is very buoyant, is that the word? Very stretchy, very bouncy. So yeah, basically I'm in love with wool folk yarn, and I want to buy all of the yarn. I want to try other like types of yarn. This one is called Far, but they have different like series or collections of yarn. So yeah, this one will definitely be done by next time also. Those are my 2 things that I've been working on, and now let's talk about yarn acquisitions, which is very exciting. That was an acquisition, but I've already worked up like almost all of it, so I have 2 other ones that are going to be specifically for projects. I typically don't buy just to buy. I usually have projects associated with them, unless like it's a collection that has just released and I just want to buy like 1 skein of fingering weight yarn, something like that, like some sock yarn. Okay, first we're going to talk about purple, because I don't know what it is. Okay, I do know what it is. Sadness Garden had posted a picture on their Instagram of this beautiful cable fluffy cardigan, and I fell in love with it. Purple is not typically a color I wear, but I don't know, there's just something about, maybe because like Emily from High Fiber Knits and Bethany from Well Love Knits, they both have knitted purple sweaters in the last few months, and also seeing that cardigan from Sadness Garden, like I just have such a itch to knit with purple. I want to buy a purple yarn and knit the Pippin cardigan by, I think she's Knit Pearl Girl, I'm pretty sure, on Instagram. But let me show you the yarn that I got. I have it back here on my yarn / bookshelf. Okay, so this is the yarn. This is Rowan Alpaca Soft DK, and I've knit with this yarn before. It was a few podcasts ago. I talked about how I had this yarn and I tried to knit a beanie with it, but then it ended up not being good at all, and I ripped it back and I made a Sophie scarf. And also, it's just kind of like, back then I would impulsively buy just because I liked a color. I didn't really buy because like I knew that I would wear the color, whereas now, like, if I'm spending money on yarn and I'm putting in all of the work to make an object, I'm much more conscious of what I'm buying and how much. So yeah, with that yarn, I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking, but regardless, it got turned into a Sophie scarf, and the yarn itself is very nice. It's very soft, and so yeah, I saw this yarn today sitting on the shelf, and this purple shade is like everything that I've been dreaming of. Yeah, so this yarn, I was watching Anna, I forget her last name, but I will leave her in the description, another really awesome creator that she repurposes yarn that she gets from the or from the thrift store, or from just like other garments that she has in her wardrobe, and yeah, she repurposes them, and she's very talented. So also really good quality podcasts, so go check her out. I'll leave her down below as well. But she was talking about, or she had hand dyed this yarn that she had, and she was knitting up the August hat by Sari Nordland, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, that is the pattern. And when I was in the yarn store today, I saw this purple, and I immediately thought of that hat. So, and I had like wrestled with myself for a second. I was like, do I need this yarn? No. Do I want to use this yarn for that hat? I think it would be a perfect match made in heaven. Although that hat is knit with an Aran weight, and this is DK, but I think it's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work, and we're gonna knit that hat, and I'm so excited to cast this on. I'm probably gonna get through my Slipover first, and then we can cast this on, but that leads us into the next one, because that's also a sweater that needs to be casted on in the next week, I think. Anyway, so yeah, this is the yarn, and the color, I don't think I mentioned, it's lot number, or shade number 00209, and I don't think there's any other yarn that looks like this in this collection of yarn, or what is that called? Type of yarn that they have. So yeah, I only got 2 skeins. The thing is, like, if I'm buying online, did I say this already? If I'm buying online, I'll order more than I need, but if I'm buying in person, I'm okay with buying less than I need, because 1, I hate having leftover yarn, and 2, I can always go back and get some more. So yeah, and this, like, I know I'm gonna cast this on soon, so it'll work out. I think purple, although it's not a color that I wear, I think it will look nice against my dark hair and dark eyes. So yeah, I don't know. What is a color that you have been like really into right now? I want to know. Again, August hat by Sari Nordland. We'll see. I mean, that's the plan, but anything could change. Okay, so the last yarn acquisition I have is for a sweater. I bought a sweater's quantity of yarn, and if you don't know, now you know. Creabea on Instagram and YouTube. Rebecca is her first name. Recently, she has released some, or like she has come out as a like knitwear designer, and it's awesome. She is just so creative with patterns, like her Cargill sweater and cow. I knitted the cow, which I don't have with me. Oh, that was a finished object. That's awkward. Well, I did have another finished object, but it's all the way downstairs. We'll have to talk about it next time. But anyway, she's just so creative, and I'm so glad that she's releasing patterns. And her Kerr sweater, I think she pronounces it Kerr, but in the US, like, it's spelled Kerr, so it would be Kerr, but I'm pretty sure it's Kerr sweater. It's a colorwork sweater, and I have never knit colorwork before, so I really want to try, and from what I can tell, it's pretty beginner friendly. So it comes out in a few days, so like the pattern's not even out, the yardage, nothing has come out yet, but I bought the yarn for it. and this is my yarn combination. So of course the cream is kind of getting me, it's a little washed out. So this yarn is the Barocco Ultra Wool DK 100% Superwash wool. I will say superwash is not the warmest yarn, but this, for a whole skein, you get almost 300 yards, 292 yards for 100 grams, and it was only $12 for a skein, so I think that's a pretty good deal. It's pretty soft, it's a little rough, but I think it'll be fine, and they had a nice color selection also. So yeah, the green color is 83149. I wish that these had cool names. Like, all of the yarn I have is all like numbered. Their colors are numbers, which is kind of disappointing, but it's okay. So yeah, the green, it's a very like emerald green. When I was there, I was telling the girl at the store that I'm actually going to turn this light on because it's getting, if I just disrupted everything, I'm sorry, but it's getting kind of dark. Okay, so I was talking to the girl at the yarn store, and I was like, it's my first time doing color work. I really want to experiment with color. Like, I told her that I've been dying to knit with purple, but typically like all of my garments are neutral colors, like brown and cream. So she was like, what about this green color? And it's like this beautiful emerald green, and she said this would look beautiful on your skin tone. And I don't know if she's right, but I think she is, and I think it will look nice. Of course, the light is not helping, but I think this will look really nice on my skin tone. So the main color will be this emerald green, and then just a off-white. I didn't want to do like pure white. I don't love pure white. So I went with this like cream color, and that's in the color 8301. So yeah, this is 100% superwash wool, whatever 100% Lane superwash is, I don't know. And it's made in Peru. And I'm hopeful that this will be nice to work with. Hopefully I can meet Gage with it, and yeah, you should check out the Kerr sweater. And I don't know, this and the hat will be my next projects to work on, but also Christmas is coming up, and I haven't even started anyone's gifts. Like, I need to get on that. I have like ideas of what I want to make people, but I have not even started. So yeah, what are some things that you're working on? I just want to know, like, where are you drawing inspiration from? Let me know what types of videos you would want to see. And yeah, I think that's all we have to talk about. I'm waiting on my Sorella collection to come, so that will be in the next podcast. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna get out and go for my walk and grab some tea from the local coffee shop before it gets too dark. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and please keep me in your thoughts and prayers while I take my board exam on December 3rd. So if I don't see you before then, I'll see you after, and I'll let you know how it goes. So yeah, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.